Hello everyone and welcome to another video brought to you by James from mysmarterhome.com. In this video I will be comparing 4 smart door locks, and they are the August smart lock, which is the second generation, versus the Schlage Connect BE469NX versus the Kwikset Kevo second generation versus the Yale YRD220. This video contains a series of easy to read comparison charts. Each chart contains a small set of features that compare these smart locks. All in all, over 40 features are compared. The video is split into different sections that are easy to move between using the headings in the description below. And those sections are Section 1, the basics, Section 2, methods of opening, Section 3, connections and security, Section 4, codes and lock features, Section 5, design, power and warranty, Section 6, home automation, Section 7, remote access, and Section 8, ratings and reviews. Now, in order to keep your attention and to keep the video moving at a good pace, I will not discuss every detail in this video. These charts will be part of a very detailed written review that you can find at mysmarterhome.com. So let's get stuck in. Looking at the manufacturers, each of these smart locks is made by a different company. Yale was founded in 1868, Schlage in 1920, Kwikset in 1946, and August in 2012. That makes Yale 142 years older than August. Ironically, the Yale lock in this comparison is also the oldest, launched as it was in 2011. The Kevo is the newest lock and was first on sale in September 2016. So that is an over 5 years of difference between the age of the locks. Now there is a huge difference in the weight of these locks as well. The August smart lock is only 14 ounces, whereas all the other locks are over 61 ounces. The reason for that is the August lock does not contain a separate deadbolt, and all the other locks do. The Yale and the Schlage locks are also much bigger because those locks contain a number pad, and the Kevo and the August don't. It is important to remember that prices change all the time, so make sure that you're aware of the exact price of any of these smart locks before you buy them. When I was creating this video, the August and the Kevo locks were the most expensive at $229, whereas the Schlage and the Yale were about $179. Okay, Section 2, methods of opening. Going from left to right at the top are the main methods that smart locks can be opened, and they are number pad or keypad, smartphone, traditional or mechanical key, fob or tag, and fingerprint. The Schlage and the Yale locks have a built-in number pad. On both of these locks, the number pad is a backlit touchscreen, and you can buy a number pad for the August lock separately. The Kevo is the only smart lock that doesn't use one. 2 of these locks can be opened directly by using a smartphone as a key. The August and the Kevo will open the lock if you hold the phone up to it. The Schlage and the Yale lock cannot be used like this. All of these locks can use a smartphone to unlock them remotely, but this is a slightly different way to use a smartphone, and it will be discussed in much more detail later. All 4 of these locks can be opened using a mechanical or traditional key. If you install the August smart lock, then because you use the same deadbolt, you can still use your existing key. The Schlage, Kevo and Yale locks all come with a mechanical key for you to use. Some automatic door locks use fobs or tags to open them. The only lock in this comparison that can be opened by this is the Kevo, but the fob will need to be purchased separately. There is a growing number of smart locks that use fingerprints as a means of opening the lock. However, none of the smart locks in this comparison can be opened using this method. Section 3 is all about the connections and security. None of these locks use Wi-Fi as a means of connection. The August and the Kevo use Bluetooth to connect to smartphones as a means of opening the lock, and the Schlage and the Yale don't use Bluetooth in any way. All four of these locks can connect to a smart hub or network controller as part of a home automation systems such as the Amazon Echo or Wink. In this next section, I'm going to be looking at the connections and security features of these four smart locks. Two of these locks can connect to the Wi-Fi via a Wi-Fi bridge, which is a mini router that connects the lock to your home Wi-Fi network. Bridges are one method of remotely unlocking smart locks. Those two locks are the August, whose bridge is called Connect, and the Kevo, whose bridge is called Kevo Plus. These bridges need to be purchased separately and they cost about $50 each. The August and the Kevo also use Bluetooth to connect smartphones two smartphones as a means of opening the lock. The Schlage and the Yale don't use Bluetooth in any way. All four of these locks can connect to a smart hub or network controller, as they're also called, as part of a home automation system such as Wink or Amazon Echo. The August lock is the only lock in this comparison that doesn't have an official security rating from ANSI, which is the American National Standards Institute. The Schlage and the Kevo locks both have a Grade 1 residential rating, and the Yale has a Grade 2 residential rating. Privacy features are normally only found on locks that have number pads. Privacy features stop any prying eyes from recognizing a code or personal identification number. The Schlage and the Yale locks both have fingerprint-resistant screens. This means that fingerprints will not be left on any of the numbers that have been used as part of a personal identification number that can then be spotted by an intruder. The Schlage and the Yale are the only two locks to have built-in alarms, and each of these locks have two different alarms. One alarm will sound if anyone is tampering with the lock, and the other alarm will sound if anyone is trying to force entry. The Kevo and the August don't have any alarms, which I think is a weakness and make the locks a lot more insecure. The final feature that I want to discuss in this section is about emergency opening methods. Because all of these locks are powered by batteries, they all need an alternative means of opening them in the rare situations where the power fails. And for all of these locks, that method is a traditional or mechanical key. Section 4, Pin and Locking Features. Auto lock is the ability of a lock to automatically lock after an interval of a few seconds after it is closed. This is an essential feature in any smart lock because it is just one less thing that you have to remember. All four of these locks have the auto lock feature. It will help you when you are in a rush and you have lots of things on your mind as you come in through the front door, or if you come in through the front door with your hands full of shopping and you physically cannot lock the door behind you. Remote unlocking is the ability to open your smart lock even when you're not at home. The August lock and the Kevo can be remotely unlocked in two ways. Firstly is by a Wi-Fi bridge, which was discussed in lots of details a few minutes ago. The second way that these two locks can be remotely unlocked is when they are part of a compatible home automation system, and more on that will also be discussed later. The Schlage and the Yale locks can only be remotely unlocked by being part of a compatible home automation system. They don't use Wi-Fi bridges. Personal identification number lengths and personal identification number storage capacities only apply to the locks with the number pads. The Schlage and the Yale locks will accept any code or pin that is between 4 to 8 digits long. The Schlage can store up to 30 different codes, whereas the Yale lock can store up to 250 different codes. Smart locks must not only keep the wrong people out, but they must let the right people in. This must be done in a very manageable way, particularly for occasional visitors, such as when locks are used on rental properties, or when you have dog walkers coming into your house, or perhaps even cleaners or workmen and women. The August and the Kevo both allow an owner to create virtual or e-keys. The most important qualities that these keys have is that they can be created instantly, last for a few hours or a few days, or even just specific times on specific days, and are automatically deleted when they expire. And also, at any time the keys are used, you will be notified via the activity log on your phone. The Yale and the Schlage locks do not use virtual or e-keys, but they allow you to create multiple pins for guests or occasional visitors. The Yale lock in particular, with its 250 code storage capacity, has plenty of potential. Both the Yale and the Schlage locks can create pins instantly with flexible limits on their use. This all needs to be done via the home automation app that the lock is integrating with. All four of these locks provide an activity log which shows you when your lock is being used and by whom. For the August and the Kevo, this is via their very own app. For the Schlage and the Yale, this log is part of a specific home automation app that you are using. Each of these locks is available in more than one choice of colour, and that is not something that I say too often in smart device comparisons. The August lock comes in 4 colours: silver, dark grey, champagne and red. The Schlage Connect comes in aged bronze, bright chrome, satin chrome, matte black and satin nickel. The Kevo comes in 3 colours: polished brass, satin nickel and Venetian bronze. And the Yale YRD220 also comes in 3 colours: the oil rub bronze, the polished brass and satin nickel. Moving on to the installation, all of these locks can be installed very quickly just using a screwdriver. All of these locks are also powered by 4 AA batteries, which are provided. 3 of these locks are weatherproof. The August lock is not weatherproof because it is fitted only on the inside of the door. All of the other smart locks are for outdoor use as well. What is interesting is that none of these locks have an IP rating. IP stands for Ingress Protection, and it is an industry-wide rating that shows how protected a product designed to be used outside is against the elements. The Kevo, Yale and Schlage all have a temperature range that they can operate within. Unfortunately, I could not find any details on the specifics for the Kwikset Kevo, but the Schlage has an operating temperature of between -35 degrees to 66 degrees centigrade, and the Yale has a similar range of between -30 to 60 degrees centigrade. Only the Yale lock has voice-operated setup. This is a step-by-step spoken guide that you are taken through during setup. I think this guide comes in one of 3 languages: English, Spanish and French. Voice-guided setup is not to be confused with the voice commands that these locks can be controlled with when linked to the Amazon Echo system or indeed the HomeKit system. Only one of these locks, the August lock, uses your existing deadbolt. The other 3 locks come with a new deadbolt that you must use. The August lock is also the only lock to have a 1-year limited warranty. The Schlage, Yale and Kevo locks all have a lifetime warranty for mechanics and finish. Section 6, Home Automation. In this section we're going to be looking at the different smart home systems that these devices are compatible with. Home automation is the ability of a device to interact with other devices in the home. There are numerous systems and languages that different smart devices use. The first system is IFTTT, or If This Then That. It is a website and an app that connects many different smart devices together using applets. Applets are technical recipes. They can be created by the manufacturers of the products or by enthusiastic users. All applets can be used by anyone for free. August and Kevo are official services on IFTTT, and by this I mean that the company have created applets themselves. Yale and Schlage have applets that can be used, but these applets have not been made by either of those two companies, but by enthusiastic users. All four of these smart locks work with Amazon Alexa. Alexa is Amazon's voice-operated digital assistant that is rapidly evolving into a very large home automation system. In order for any of these locks to work with Alexa, you need to already have or be willing to buy an Amazon Echo or Amazon Dot. These are interactive speakers which are evolving into smart home hubs. Only the August lock works with HomeKit, which is Apple's own smart home system. August have created a specific model that works solely with HomeKit. The August and the Kevo locks work with the Nest system and the Wink system, but in order to do so you need to buy and use the Wi-Fi bridges that we discussed earlier. Also, if you want the locks to work with Wink, you will also need a Wink smart hub or be willing to buy some. Whereas the Schlage and the Yale lock are not compatible with Nest, they are with Wink and SmartThings. They don't need any Wi-Fi bridges to be used, but you will need a Wink or SmartThings hub. The August lock is the only one of these locks in the comparison that doesn't work with the SmartThings system directly, although it will interact with it using some recipes or applets from If This Then That. Remote access is the ability to control a device without physically touching it, and so you could be 2 meters away from the device or 2,000 kilometers away from the device and still control it. In section 2 of this comparison, I briefly explained that the August lock and the Kevo lock can be opened using a smartphone and the app. These apps only allow a user to open a lock when they are standing next to the lock with their smartphone. The apps do not provide remote access. Remote access for iOS or Android devices is provided via specific apps for different home automation systems, such as Wink or SmartThings. Remote access can also be granted via web browsers. The Schlage, Kevo and Yale can be remotely accessed via a web browser as long as they are connected to the Samsung SmartThings system. The Wink system does not allow remote access via a web browser. I don't think that the August lock can be remotely accessed via a web browser either. Ratings and reviews. To finish the video, we will look at the ratings and reviews that these smart locks have received on Amazon. What I've tried to do is show some of the most helpful statistics to help us work out which are the most successful and popular products. To state the obvious, these numbers will change on an almost daily basis, but I think the overall trends that these numbers reveal will not change that much. The Schlage Connect lock has an overall rating of 4.3 out of 5, and the Yale has a rating of 4 out of 5. The August only gets a 3.6 out of 5, and the Kevo has a very disappointing 2.7 out of 5. The Schlage has the highest number of written reviews with over 2,000, and the next is the August lock. The Schlage and the August locks are 1 and 2 for the number of written questions. 3 of these locks have a low percentage of 5-star reviews: August, Schlage and Yale, and they all have ratings for 5 stars in the 60%. Many successful products have 5-star ratings in the 70% or higher. Also, for these locks, their percentages for 1-star ratings are high. They are in double figures, and ideally you want to see these percentages at 5% or less. Now the Kevo's percentages are very poor. It has a very surprising higher percentage of 1-star reviews than 5-star reviews. Finally, in the last column is a fake spot grade. Fake spot analyzes a product's reviews on sites like Amazon and gives them a reliability grading. The higher the grade, the more trustworthy that the reviews are. The Yale lock has an A grade and the Schlage has a B grade. The August and the Kevo, though, both have a disappointing F grade, which means that fake spot don't trust the reviews that have been written on them. And that's it. Thanks for watching this review of these 4 smart locks. The August 2nd generation versus the Schlage Connect versus the Kwikset Kevo versus the Yale YRD220. I hope that my comparison will help you in your search for your next smart lock. If you have any questions, please ask me. If I've made a mistake, please tell me. Or if you have any ideas for my next review, let me know.